Helena and Alina now gets the double from the Tenacious, from Faces, which is very good with Helena and Alina, right? That's going to be a 4-5. And, yeah. Yeah, that's game. Hello, good game. Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're all having a magical day. Thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. In Mythic rank today, climbing from 98% to the top 1500, ayo, with a new Alchemy best of 1 build. This is red and green Gruul Aggro using the newest card, which I think is fantastic. The Jukai Liberator, allowing you to seek lands or non-lands, providing consistent card advantage over your opponents. In today's video, we'll break down the deck list in depth, talking about the strategies, the synergies included, and then we'll do our best to demonstrate this within Mythic against not only the best players in the world, but the best decks as well. And then we'll wrap up with our final thoughts and deck review. This whole process is intended to give you an in-depth understanding of exactly how the deck works so you can pilot it as effectively as humanly possible. Let's take a look at the deck. But before we do, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even become a YouTube member. So here we are with the Gruul Liberator. Man, what a fantastic deck. A 60 card Alchemy best of 1 with a 2.4 average mana value. We have 28 creatures to our 8 non-creatures with the smooth 24 land that we love to see. There are some things that I will mention that I wish were in the deck. We just could not find room for them. The Kazandu Mammoth. How do we fit it in here? I don't know. I wish we had it, but that's in another video. Without complaining about the current build, because it is fantastic, but that's kind of how my brain works, is that it's always the next step. And I really should save that information to myself so I can sneak it in and use it without you guys using it. But it is what it is. I can't hold things back. I'm very bad at that. So first off, the Jukai Liberator is one of the newest cards. It's a 3/3 for 3. Not too shabby, I guess. However, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, choose a land or non-land and then seek a permanent card of the chosen kind. So whether you need your next land, it's got you. Or you're just looking for something else to play on your next turn, it's got you. It's a non-legendary, which means it stacks Holy Toledos, and it has ninjutsu, which means you can cast it for 2 instead of 3 and have guaranteed combat. Well, not guaranteed, but closer to guaranteed combat damage, which is really nice. And the coolest thing about this, the ninjutsu will not trigger whenever a creature enters the battlefield, right? Because you're not casting it, right? So the Tenacious Pup, whenever you cast your next creature spell. The Faces, whenever you cast your next creature spell, right? Both of these are cast. The ninjutsu is not a cast, similar to the channel is not a cast. So we can retain those +1/+1 counters from the Faces and the Pup to use on another creature, which is super, super helpful. And we can bounce either the Pup or the Faces once it's turned into the Itching of Kumano back to our hand to replay, to regain the value that they present to the match. Absolutely amazing stuff here. Very, very, very high value. Not only can we seek lands from the deck through the Liberator, but we can also just pull them out at will through Kodama directly into play, not even into our hand, which is amazing. So basically, Kodama is grabbing all of the lands, and the Liberator only grabs non-lands. That's kind of the strategy of the build here. It'll allow you to flood the field with lands, and then grab a whole bunch of creatures or, you know, spells with value into your hand to, take advantage of the field state. With this being said, Kodama will also provide trample to all of our modified creatures. The Faces will modify the creature. The Tenacious Pup will modify a creature. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Rangers class will modify a creature. Lizard Blades will do the same. And then, of course, finally, we have Helena and Alina, the partners, to put those +1 counters on things as well. So modifying creatures is not a problem. We will have trample almost all of the time. As long as we can get Kodama out, basically everything gets trample. Taking advantage of the trample through Double Strike through the Feral Outlaw, which is, as Daybound, the wanted Cutthroat. 2/2 first strike. Whenever you deal combat damage, grab a card, and then you can play that card with mana value, mana of any color, which is quite nice, right? So you're pulling a card at random. And then the Outlaw has double strike, so that will be a double trigger of the grabbing a card, which is nice. And then more damage because of the double strike, which is pretty cool, right? If we can modify it, double strike with trample is very good because it can't be chump blocked effectively. Same goes for the Lizard Blades as a 1/1, just organic double strike. We can equip it or re-equip it to a creature for 2 mana, which should be fairly easy to do for us as well. And that will also make that creature that we equip it to modified. Safekeeping for protection, indestructible, hexproof, gain 2 life. Choosing to go for this rather than Snakeskin for the indestructible, right? There's a lot of field wipes out there, and the indestructible is great. The gaining life is not bad either if you find yourself in an aggro mirror match. We have the Rangers class for additional value here as well. When it enters play, make that 2/2. Then next up, if you do pay 2 whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. That's that modified that we talk about. And level 3, you can play creatures off the top, which is really cool, considering that we have such an easy way to already gain card advantage. This will definitely allow us to further that advantage. And Rangers class is fantastic because you're going to drain your deck of those lands through Kodama very quickly. The Liberator can also do this if push comes to shove, and then you're just playing those creatures off the top. Keep in mind that you do have the faces, you do have the safekeeping, and you do have other copies of the class as non-creature, non-lands that could still get in the way, but again, fairly unlikely percentage-wise. Helena and Alina first strike reach 2/3. At the beginning of combat, put a X +1/+1 counters on target creature, where X is Helena and Alina's power. So where this comes in really handy is the fact that we can use faces, and we can use Tenacious Pup to increase the strength and toughness of our creatures when they enter through the +1/+1 counters. So you can have Helena and Alina come out as a 4/5 potentially, and then put 4 +1 counters on something else, and it will probably have trample, and it's just a ton of damage. And then last but not least, the Town Raiser Tyrant, after its adjustment, still fairly good, I feel like, for 4 mana as a 4/4 with flying. When it enters battlefield, choose a non-basic land you don't control, right? And then at the beginning of their end step, they'll have 2 damage dealt to them unless they choose to sacrifice said land. And as a 4/4 with flying, you can't complain too much, right? Den of the Bugbear, Lair of the Hydra in here for creature-based lands, and then we have 1 Defiance because it's not really that great, and then 2 Endures because it's fantastic with the Crossroads for the scry/color consistency of our mana base. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Choosing to use the Crossroads over the Pathways for the scry, I really, really like the scry. It is a good way to get a land out of the way if you are using this Rangers class. Creatures off the top as well. And then keeping a high number of basic lands for Kodama's ability, right? So we can make sure that we're always getting a whole bunch of lands, accumulating a large mana pool, and then we can utilize that mana pool more effectively through multiple spells per turn. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Reckless Stormseeker, I think the only card here that we haven't talked about yet. 2/3 Daybound, Nightbound 3/4, Daybound +1 and haste, Nightbound +2 +0 haste and trample, which is great, but the trample's not a necessity because we'll probably get that organically through the West Tree. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Again, to recap, your overall strategy here is to assemble Double Strike and Trample. That will really deal a lot of damage, and if you can protect that permanent, you're going to be off to the races. Enjoy today's gameplay footage. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, maybe even comment or become a YouTube member for exclusive content. Going first with a really nice start here. It's hard to deny the turn 2 Liberator. Being a little bit greedy, but let's see if we can get it. The Ninjutsu actually won't trigger the Tenacious Pup. We do get it. Nice. So this is just like good value out of the gate. Getting some card advantage. Gonna take a land. Ooh. Both Crossroads come in tapped. So we could be looking down. Some 1-drops. I don't know who they take. It might be the Stormseeker. Go red, take the Scry. That can stay. Ooh, we should have scryed after. Because we'll have to shuffle here, right? Seek. I don't know if that does shuffle. It might leave. Because it's at random. I'm not entirely sure if that reshuffles our library. It doesn't say that it does. But I would assume that it does. There's no way Kodama stays on the top. This is a Kodama. Paladin. So this is the World Championship deck that we're facing off against here. Lovely. Not World Championship. I shouldn't say that. The Set Championship. Different thing, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I doubt that Worlds is Alchemy, but you never know. It was Kodama. Interesting. So I don't think Seek shuffles. But Helena and Alina now gets the double from the Tenacious, from Faces, which is very good with Helena and Alina, right? That's going to be a 4-5. And, yeah. Yeah, that's game. Beautiful! On the draw, also known as on the slow. This is in untapped, or we can scry. And I think it's, since we don't have a turn right now with scry, there'll be a second red source. That can go. Right, we have our 4 land here, so that's fine. Ooh. The Undead Butler. Milling some cards, interesting. Are we in trouble and just don't know it? Here's our Rangers class. Right, it's party shenanigans, I guess. The plot thickens. Just, like, get after it. That was a bad attack. Somehow I don't ever feel bad attacking, though. Just get him. Ooh, that's not great. I mean, getting the rogue out of play does help. Right, that part wasn't bad. This has reach. First strike is nice. I think we can... And I think we have to race. I don't think we get a choice, quite honestly, because we don't have life gain, right? There's not a lot of life here. Tomato's safekeeping. There's 2 copies of it, maybe 3. I don't have my Overwolf installed yet since I did my system refresh. I'll get on that for tomorrow's video, I suppose. And then we can take a look at our percentages, break those down. If you're interested in downloading the Assistant, it's available for free in my link tree. Oh, that's... a lot of life gained there, eh? I think it's best just to make a fatty. I mean, it literally doesn't matter. Take the base camp. Let's just swing with the woofers. They have so much life. Sacrificing land on their end step or taking 2 damage. Ooh. There's some more life. Ouch. I would assume they just sacrifice this. Get it out of the way, right? Kodama has reach as well, which is good in this situation. Wish we had some vigilance, though. Easy as that. They don't want to stay for the fireworks. And really, it does come down to, you know, they're trying to push, you know, the agenda through flying. And we actually have 3 creatures that can deal with that. And we've just gained trample, and they're going to get bigger and badder as the match goes on. So that's great news. On the draw, keeping 7. Ooh, interesting. Me too. Interesting. I mean, if they're going to use a second spell to take care of my Tenacious Pup, by all means, go ahead. It's not great. It needs to be a lot better. Nether pup. Whoa. Into a tainted. Okay, this is interesting. A little worrisome as well. Kind of messed up on that. Should have played the land first. This has to be a red source. We're gonna untap it. No attacks. Brutal. Oh. It is indeed brutal. That's not good, man. Yikes. Big hits here. You know, at least we can trade. Hopefully. We're down to 10. That's, like, frightening. Yeah, the Death Touch goes. They have first strike. Can they just protect it? Another... Ooh. Alright, So this is the best thing that could have ever happened to us, I think. Just fill up the field. It's still looking pretty grim. Oh, maybe we get lucky. Looks pretty grim indeed. They push it to 5, we still get the kill. Hurts. That's not great. Let's just push into the class as aggressively as we can. Elena and Alina might save us, I don't know. Pretty scary. Seems fine. They can use the treasure and buff it. Gains death touch. Brutal, but whatever. Just deal with the threats as they come. Everything is still okay. Deep breaths. We just need a couple turns. Game. We are outlasting these other aggro decks, and that's top 1600. That's beautiful. Going first, which means the land isn't tapped. But we get a scry, and the scry can find the second red land. There you have it, folks. It's gonna be a slow and painful match, but we'll get there. Oh, it's a Rakdos deck, isn't it? Beautiful. Oh, no, no. No. The Broodcaster. Let's go. Good damage. 15, and smells like removal to me. That's why we played the haste, so we get that damage. Because if we don't play, then it's just dead. Ooh, wow. Okay. Interesting. And they attack, which means they're not blocking. You know, I'm gonna allow it. I'm all for this. Take that, Rakdos. Get Gruuled, baby! It's a Harvester. They have life gain, right? Plenty of it. Ouch. Right? Plenty of life gain. We're not out of the woods yet, kids. Good start, but yikes. This is a scary, scary, scary deck. Alright. Bet they sacrifice this. Pretty risky to go to 4, but they do have 3 defenders. Yeah. This is really good. I want to hold up safekeeping. I think we still just push the agenda. I don't want the trample to be as buff as we can get it. I think we just lose it. Right? We give them the trade, we hold up our safekeeping, and that way, you know, while being top 1500, LOL, the Seeker can stay in play, right? It's not dying here. Kodama, like, they have to deal with both of these with very few mana, and we can save one and probably finish with the other. Nice land. How do you keep this? How do you keep this? Keep it because there's a 1-drop that you can play. Just need one source of green land. Don't care when it shows up. The turn after this would be ideal, but whatever. Ah, that's not good. That's not good either. We should have mulliganed. We should have mulliganed. We knew. Being greedy, this is what you get. Lena and Alina is going to be the only way to win this race, and they have Exile on it, so it's like... I mean, we don't want to be a mono red deck, though, is the problem. We're basically doing a bad job of it. But look at them flex on us, right? Atrocious. Very, very bad news bears. Ouch. Right? Not attacking because you're forced to defend or be hit with lethal kind of hurts. Okay. I mean, that could not have been a poorer showing for ourselves. 4 red lands in hand, we didn't mulligan. Ouch. We deserve to lose there. Holy Toledos. So something that I always like to do at the end of the videos is talk about how we can make the deck better in the future. We kind of spilled the beans in today's intro, but it's Kazandu Mammoth, right? I have a hard time fitting it in the deck currently, but I do think that it provides a massive amount of value considering we're using Double Strike and Trample. The reason being is Kodama has landfall, right? So if you are using First Strike grabbing lands with Kodama, these lands that you grab will push up Kazandu Mammoth, and potentially it has Trample as well, increasing your damage output overall quite substantially. Can we lose anything that we have in deck now? I honestly do not think so. The most likely thing for us to be able to drop would be the Reckless Stormseeker or Town Razor Tyrant, and that feels bad. Right, so that's why we did not do it off of the start for consistency's sake, and we did see that perform fairly well in today's video, right? It's not like the deck sucked without it, but I think that if somehow we could manage and balance the cards in the deck a little bit more, we could fit those mammoths into the deck, increasing the consistency of the land, increasing our damage output. However, we don't want to decrease the overall consistency of the deck, right? Now, that's a little bit what I'm worried about. Potentially, like I said, the Tyrant and the Seeker can be trimmed to increase a few slots for the Mammoth. Definitely don't want to lose any double strike. I definitely don't want to lose anything that produces a modify effect. That only leaves the 2 cards. And the Liberator is not going, because this card absolutely slaps. I love it. And the fact that, you know, you can put the trample on it, right? You can get consistent damage to your opponent. So now you're grabbing lands with it and you're grabbing non-lands with it. Wow. So that's pretty cool, right? I like the deck. Something that we're going to continue to work with in the future. And, you know, hopefully I can solve this riddle for the community as how to sneak a couple mammoths in there. Doesn't sound like a hard task, but holy Toledos. You try to figure it out. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Have a magical day. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and become a YouTube member to support me gaining simultaneous access to all of the exclusive content that we've done in the past. We're talking other games, which is really cool, pack openings. We also have interviews with other creators, so don't miss out on that. And we'll see you soon in the next.